So it was December of 2012. I was back visiting my family for Christmas holiday. And I ended up going in the hot tub with my brother, and it was just beautiful, right? It's real cold outside and there's the stars up, and we're sitting in this hot tub and we get to talking, and we start talking about some like really deep stuff, like what do we want to be when we grow up, and stuff like what is the point of life, and like what are we put on this planet to do. So it got my mind thinking on like a whole different trajectory. And anyways, we get out of the hot tub and everything's dark in the house. It's pitch black. My parents are already asleep upstairs, and I start making my way upstairs to take a shower and to go to bed. And all of a sudden, like I get this like really hot feeling inside of my body. I knew that it was the presence of God because I had felt the presence of God on me before, but this time it was unlike any other time that I've experienced it, and it got like more and more intense. It got hotter and hotter, and the experience got deeper and deeper, and I had this one-on-one conversation where I ended up with my face on the floor, crying like a baby, like uncontrollably. And I remember getting this very clear vision. It was almost like he was talking to me like directly. I was laying on the floor and he showed me like these two paths. He said, you could either take this path over here to the left, which you can stay doing what you're doing, which at the time I was in a fraternity. I was partying, I was drinking, I was chasing girls around, but I knew that's not what I was put on the planet to be and to do. Then there's this other path that he showed me like very, very vividly of where, and I just started a business, and he said like, if you like really get focused on serving people and you really get focused on like making an impact in people's lives, then I'm gonna make you a wealthy man and I'm gonna bless you beyond like your wildest dreams. And so it was like that night that this was like a no-brainer. I remember I went into my parents' room, I told them about this like life-transforming experience that I had had, and it was that next day where I told my parents, I was like, hey, look, I think I gotta take time off from school, and I think I gotta dedicate it to my business. So that's where I got like my inspiration and my passion for helping people, because I know that I've been given this vision for my life that I was put on this planet to do more than just to get a job and to do normal things. I know that like I've been given this dream and this whole vision from God that if I don't execute on it, then I'd be not only be letting myself down and not living up to my full potential, but I'd also be letting my Creator down. And so I got into business, and as soon as I made that decision, I really was guided throughout this entire process. We built a humongous business, and I got to go all over the world and speak on stages in every continent on earth and like live almost like this rock star lifestyle that was like unreal to me at the time. I got to buy my dream car and my dream home, and life was really, really cool, and I was making an impact in people's lives, and people loved me and they loved what I was doing. And then all of a sudden my business failed, like boom, pretty much overnight. And it felt like it like had gotten pulled away from me, something that like poured my blood, sweat, tears, everything in for like the past 3 years of my life into, and it had just been snatched away from me. And so I went from making all this money and you know, helping all these people and traveling and all this cool stuff to like nothing. And I kind of hit like rock bottom again at that point where I had a house payment, I had a car payment, I was living on my own, I had moved out from my parents' house, and I had to go for like 6 months without making any money, and it just got like worse and worse. I started living off my credit cards, and it was just like this shrinking feeling that sucked. I remember several times like in my room crying out to God, like what's the next path? Like you gave me this vision, I did it, and we had this huge success, like what's the next thing for me? So at the time I was living with this guy named Mike Stanzik, who was my roommate. I love him to death, love him like a brother, and he was all excited about making money online, and he started getting this business rolling online, and I was like amazed. He was doing it all from behind his computer. In my previous business, I was out talking to people on the phone, doing presentations like nonstop, and I saw him doing it all from behind his computer, and he started making like $30,000 every single month. And at that point I was like, whoa, that's cool. And not only that, but he was working with really cool people. They had like a message, and they had like a heart to like really help people. And Mike was helping them, and some of these people were even making like $1 million a year online, and some of them even were doing it in their very first year. And so that's when I had like this big aha moment where I was like, I know I can help people, I know I can serve people, like I gotta get on the internet. And so I created this plan where I was like, I need new skills. I'm gonna do whatever it takes to master this skill so that way I can create my dream lifestyle and I can serve and impact tons and tons of people. And so I went on this long journey and I tried, man, everything that you could imagine, from network marketing to selling on eBay to doing a traditional business, like anything that you could imagine, I tried it. And some of the things I had like pretty good success with, some I had a little bit of success, but for the majority of the time, a lot of the stuff that I was doing completely bombed, to be honest with you. And the challenge at the time was, number one, I was already living off my credit cards. I had no source of income. I got the thought that, man, like I never thought the day would come to it, but maybe I got to go out there and I got to get a traditional job just to support myself. I went to over $50,000 in credit card debt, and I remember one time I was trying all this different stuff, and I get a call from my mom, and I didn't talk to her in a little while, and she's like interested, like, what are you doing, Adam? Like I haven't heard from you, like I don't know what you're doing. And it was really hard for me because like at the time I thought like maybe I need to go move back home, or like maybe I need to ask my parents if they can support me to like help me take some of this debt like off of my plate. And it was a really challenging conversation because my parents previously, they were really proud of me. You know, I was doing well and I was successful, but now like it was almost like I had let them down, or almost like they were like worried about me. And that's like the worst feeling ever, having your parents worried about you. So it was difficult, and I found myself like multiple times during this hard period where I was on the floor, like crying out to God, like, what's the plan? Like, when are we gonna get something that works? Like, when am I gonna have my next successful business? And thank God it wasn't too much longer that I started seeing a little bit of success. I started creating these little websites online and selling all sorts of different products. Started making a little bit of money, and then we started selling affiliate products. And I had some of these websites that were making like $20 a day, which wasn't like big time, but at the same time it was like a little bit, and it like gave me a flash of hope. And then we were selling this other product, we ended up making like $400. I'll never forget it. It gave me like this hope that like maybe you could really make a career out of this, like maybe you could actually do this. And then we went on, we started just selling all sorts of stuff, and I was having so much fun doing it. And the products that we're selling, people were loving. We became top distributors, selling those all around the world. And it's been amazing. Not only financially, I mean, we've had some of our businesses that have paid us as much as $120,000 in a single month, which has blown my mind, considering I thought when I got out of college, if I could make 6 figures in a year, that would be like the coolest thing. And that would be like a dream come true, but in a single month. And it's just really opened my eyes to like what is possible. So I'd say even better than like the financial success, the business success would be, I know that what I'm spending the majority of my energy and effort into and putting my soul into is actually affecting and changing and making people's lives better, which is, I think, what I was really searching for throughout the whole journey. It wasn't so much to make money, but it was like, I want to feel like my life is important and that like people love me because I'm helping them. So you've got to hear a little bit about my story, and I know you've got your own story, and everybody's got their own story, but I'm excited to be a part of yours.